Hey guys, so we're gonna start session 3 today. We're at a little bit of a different scenery today. I'm at my parents' house, and the best place for Wi-Fi is out on their front porch. So if you hear some whimpering, you might hear my parents' German Shepherd puppy Belle. She's been pretty good today, but if she knows that I'm out here by myself and she's shut out of the gate, then she's gonna start crying in a little bit probably. Okay, so what we've talked about so far over the past 2 weeks of lessons that we've done are we've traced central ideas, which are the who, what, when, where, and why. You add those together. We've traced central ideas. We've also looked at themes and social issues. We've talked about tracing central ideas over time by making lists of different pieces of evidence that we find to go with a theme or a central idea. Today we're going to talk about note-taking. And the lesson is called Developing Note-Taking Systems to Track Complicated Thinking. So the main point in the lesson today is to notice that authors, as they write different stories, they're going to leave you little hints from the beginning of the story all the way to the end that lead up to big moments or lead up to big ideas and central ideas and themes in the story. Example, in Harry Potter, 7 books. In the first book, there is a tiny little clue in the beginning that Sirius Black, who's in book 3, is going to be a big character. When Harry is dropped off at his aunt and uncle's in the book, Harry is dropped off by a guy named Hagrid who borrows a bike from Sirius Black, and that is barely mentioned in the first of the book, but what it does is it's a tiny little hint that he might be mentioned later. So what we're going to be looking for in this lesson this week is that we have to know that, like great fiction writers, literary nonfiction writers don't present all of their ideas at once. They're not going to lay all of them out at once. What they're going to do is they're going to introduce something and then maybe leave it for a little bit and return to it later. That means that readers need to figure out ways to take notes and allow them to trace multiple ideas and keep track of the information. So, since the beginning of the book, I've noticed in Unbroken that there has been one theme that has continued to be out there. One major theme, and I'm going to read this to you, but this comes from a piece of the book. It's from when he was a bad kid. During a raucous childhood, Louis made more than just mischief. He shaped who he would become. Confident that he was clever and bold enough to escape anything, he was almost incapable of discouragement. When history carried him into war, this resilient optimism would define him. So what I noticed about that, and what I noticed about everything so far about Louis, is that Louis is resilient, he's determined, he has a lot of inner strength. And so I figured that that was the theme. But the thing is, I couldn't tell it from my note-taking. I've been taking notes on the chapters, but I've been listing it by chapter. So see here, chapter 1, chapter 3, chapter 4. I've been listing it by chapter for complex understanding of a text. So for you to fully understand a text, you have to be able to connect pieces of evidence with the specific theme or central idea that it goes with. So what I need to do is I need to go from thinking about text chapter by chapter and thinking about information that revolves around a major central idea or theme. So this is what we're going to go from. We're going to go from taking notes over the chapter by chapter, into focusing our notes around a central idea or theme. So if you look, I came up with some good stuff in the first part. I came up with quotes about him being determined, about him being a bad kid, not being corralled, refusing to bend to bullies, beating people in cross-country meets, the town loving him again after he was so bad. You know, I've got lots of good information, but for me to fully understand it and to connect it, it has to revolve around a central theme or idea. So this right here is the central message so far that we've gotten from Unbroken. So it's a central theme. Determination and inner strength help people overcome obstacles. So what I had to do was I had to look back in the book and be able to find those little clues from over time and figure out some things that showed this central idea. So what our goal is, and this is what your assignment is this week, we're going to keep this central idea or theme, and we're going to follow it through the book over time. So you should be finding examples, evidence, social issues, all of which deal with the main theme so far. So if I had to, and I'm going to do this with y'all, I've done some themes from chapter 1 and chapter 3 and 4. So what I'm going to do now, let's see if I can get it centered on there. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to think of, if you look here, I've got beats people in track, keeps winning races. That shows determination and inner strength and helping him overcome an obstacle. We've read through chapter 9. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list off some different pieces of evidence that I remember from the different chapters that shows how determination and inner strength help people overcome obstacles. Okay, so he qualifies for the Olympics at 19 in a race he's run 4 times. He's the youngest distance runner ever to qualify. Okay, also I've got another one from chapter 5. In chapter 6, Louis runs a 56-second last lap in the Olympics. It's the fastest last lap ever. So his brother tells him that quote, a moment of pain, or no, a lifetime, or no, hold on. A moment of pain is worth a lifetime of glory. So because he's so determined, he ends up doing well. So this quote and this example show the theme, so I'm just adding to my list. All right, let's think of another one. So after the Olympics, he trains for the 1940 Olympics. They get canceled, and then he goes into war. He is this is another example. His crew is determined to stay alive. On their missions, their bombing missions. There were 594 bullet holes in the plane. Okay, there's another example of this that's connected. Phil drives plane 5 hours to avoid crashing. So if you think about it, all of these little details, all of these pieces of evidence that I have found from the text, instead of listing it off chapter by chapter, now what I'm doing is I'm focusing it around what's really important. I'm focusing it around the central theme of the story. So this is your goal. What you're going to be doing this week is you're going to have the same central idea or theme because it continues through the story. But what you're going to do is you're going to be listing off pieces of evidence from chapters 9, 10, 11, and 12, and you're going to be adding those in to your own web that focuses around the central idea, the main central idea. So we're connecting evidence to big ideas. And if you have any questions, like I said, we're just connecting what we see in the next part of the book into this same central idea. You've got a assignment on Google Classroom that already has the central idea in the middle. All you have to do is fill in different pieces of evidence that you see that show that same central idea or theme. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.